What's up, guys? It is Will here, back again for another exciting episode of Lights, Camera, Keco in the Dark Collects. And we even have Optical 20, but he's going to be about 15 minutes late. I think he's something with the ladies. I don't know what he's doing exactly. He's always a little bit fashionably late. I mean, he is the, OG sort of, or one of the OG Collector 16Go YouTubers. So I guess he has a little bit of luxury, considering we have to book with his agent just to even get him on the show. That's it, guys. We got some actual news to discuss this week. There have been things that we've been talking about, big picture stuff. And of course, we'll still have those in this show. But of course, we're going to have some actual news to talk about. We got Wolverine, J&D, which to Keco's delight will be fun to discuss probably twice on this show. So we're going to see how that goes. And then we're going to talk. Yeah, no, dude, it's going to be so much fun. That's why I bring up these topics, because I know that you're going to have a fit, and then it's going to be great content. So it's going to be super clickbaity at that point. And then we got Keco. We got to talk about Spider-Man, the exclusive Hot Toys Spider-Man. Oh, yeah. And then of course we have a Hot Toys off-brand of Wolverine. Like I don't know what that is.
I'm game.
Yeah,
I'm game for that.
We're gonna talk about
Hono Studios.
Hono Studios, yeah, Hono Studios. I think it's gonna be pretty exciting to talk about that. And then of course we're gonna talk about the Hot Toys Obi-Wan, Anakin, and of course Joker that were shown at, of course, Tokyo Comic-Con, which I think is gonna be pretty exciting. Guys, but thank you so much for joining us. It's going to be a fun show. That said, before we get too far into it, make sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell for content updates related to this channel, which I think is pretty exciting. And yeah, guys, Optical will be here soon, like I mentioned. But Keco, how you doing, man?
Yeah,
it's Friday.
Hi. It's dark, as you can see. It's just so depressing, because as the end of the quarter, end of the year comes, I mean, you have to pretty much find ways to keep yourself entertained. Last week, I entirely polished off a bottle all by myself of champagne, because we have to boost our spirits somehow. And it's dark, it's cold, but we do have our winter gala coming up at the house this weekend. And Amy is super hype about it, but also stressed about it, because get-togethers and hosting is her thing, and she really likes it. So we have my sister. Well, I didn't know this, but my sister came into town last weekend, and I was like, "Oh," she's like, "Hey, I'm outside." I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "I told you I was staying with you like this weekend." I was like, "I did not know that," because I started breaking down all the stuff in our house, trying to do some remodeling and things like that. I was like, "Well, you're gonna have to go past like shelves and everything to get to the pink room. So good luck on that." But so that was, taxing with all the stuff around. She was there, and then our house is a mess because we're getting ready for the gala. So after that, it should be a good holiday season after December the 11th. So we'll see how that goes.
Dude, I should have been at the gala.
You should have. You always have an open invite. So I hope you know that the pink room is always yours. I will even boost out, like, I don't know if Jaime's on here watching, but if Jaime and Brooke happen to stay, they can go downstairs. What the hell is happening here? You get let's talk about Cracker Barrel cheese. This ad started playing. But you get the pink room, they will get the couch.
Dude, that's some high praise right there. That the pink room is elite. Like, ladies and gentlemen, if you've not seen the pink room, Keco will have to send you guys a picture, or I'll post something, because the pink room is absolutely legendary, bro.
Have you ever taken a picture of yourself in there?
No, I should have though. I didn't
know if you were thirst trapping,
Dude, I should have thirst trapped in your bathroom, in the new updated bathroom. Because if you guys have not checked out my Instagram, I posted my first official thirst trap photo, and if you want to check it out, it's on there. It was a fitness update photo, but it did do wonders, Keco, for my dating life. So I'll say that.
That's exciting to know.
Yeah. So yeah, let's just say that it was a positive development. Let's say that.
I'm going to go with the blue light, just because I feel like I'm sitting in the dark a little bit too much. It washes me out a little bit, because I don't have any of my other setups behind me, because next week we'll have a better setup, but this is what you get this week. And
guys, check out Keco's video about him quitting DTOF collecting, because that shit is pretty fun to watch, especially the ending, dude. You're like, oh shit, and then it just ends, dude. That was
because there was an actual oh shit moment, and you'll see that in part 2, because I was like, oh no. And it's been something. Do you know how much a DTOF weighs, Will?
No, but I used to carry them up and downstairs.
Yeah, well, it's a little over 100 pounds, like 110 pounds, fully assembled with the lights. And I did that 22 times. That's lifting literally a ton down the stairs, a tonnage of weight down the stairs into the garage. And I'm a little
Very
taxed, man. I'm
masculine.
not gonna lie. Well, thank you.
That's a very
And
masculine
Amy's
effort that
like,
you
"Do you
put
want me
off.
to help?" It's like, I was like, "You can't do nothing. You can't help."
You can't do anything.
No, and so I was like, "You know what? I tell you what, film me because I'm gonna put this in the next video. I want you
That's how
to
you can
film
help.
me taking this thing down." So she did help.
Dude, honestly, it does help carrying a D-top though with two people because it's not that heavy when you have two people just carrying it down something. But if one
Well,
is,
she's
it's
like
just
a
awkward.
100-pound person. The D-tops way more than she does.
Yeah, that's probably true. That's probably true. Yeah, because my brother and I took him up and downstairs before, and it was pretty light with two of us. But yeah, we are male, so it's a little bit different.
Good.
Yeah, there you go. But guys, thank you so much for joining. Let's address some of the chat real quick. We'll jump into our first topic, and then Optical will be here soon. Harsh word. Please tell me it's only $1,000. J&D said that. They did not. However, I've heard some rumors that we're going to talk about on this show. CC933 Thorn. New pics from Hot Toys shows Anakin looking pretty good. Yeah, the Korean workers apparently didn't bother with the hair. We'll talk about that as well. It's an interesting topic for sure. The new Annie pics look better. Christian, thanks so much, bro. Flash Messi. Dinesh Thea Garage, thanks so much, bro. Channel member. Flash Messi as well, channel member. Thank you guys so much. Mark Mitchell, hello, sir. Connor, gang, what is up? Jerbear, the man himself, is here. Sayful, the man himself, also here. Collector Joey on his commute home. Collector Joey did put he is beating me in fantasy right now, which is true, but I suck ass in that league, so it doesn't really count. Rum Reno is here as well. Good to see you, Rum Reno. AJ Agarusa, channel member. Thanks so much, bro. Blitz, hola, Doc Fox, Keco, and everyone. Thanks so much, Blitz. Happy to see you, bro. Textboy210, yo, what's up? Chris Williams, Dahlia Meyer is here. Star Crash, 9 invoices, dude. I don't know if that's a happy thing. Like that sounds like a depressing thing, dude. My bank account would be crying. Nick's Collectibles, guys, check out Nick's live stream that he's going to be doing for 1/6 Wrestling, the finale, sometime soon. So yeah, that's going to be something soon. So yeah, we got that coming in the near future. Nick's Collectibles, it's a good workout for your rematch with Howard Chan. Thanks so much, bro. Thanks so much. And Luis is here. But yeah, so we're all good there. Daniel is here as well. What's up, Daniel? Good to see you, bro. Okay. Guys, let's jump into our first topic, and yeah, we'll make sure we get started on some of the important.
Please pick a good one. Pick a good one,
dude.
Let's not start off negative.
They're all good ones. They're all good ones. You know this.
That's subjective.
Dude, they're all good ones, and you know that we're gonna have an intelligent, intellectual debate on these 6-scale topics, as we always do.
Of course.
Yeah, of course, because we are. Are we
a thought-out civil discussion?
Yeah, exactly, dude. Well, let's talk about something exciting. Let's go positive first. Hot Toys / Hono Studio comic Wolverine has been teased, and really the kind of thing. There's a couple things I want to touch on here. First off, comic book figures from Hot Toys is posting this, so clearly Hot Toys is connected to this. I cannot discern whether that this is a Hot Toys sub brand or something going on. I'm assuming it is. That seems to be what is being communicated, but no one's really saying that, so I don't know exactly. I guess we're gonna find out, but. The question really being, are we good with these cheaper 1/6 scale figures? Because with this Wolverine, there is a lot to like here. And the one thing that there are a couple things that I want to show you guys. Just some original photos here that Hot Toys posted. Seamless arms, really cool basic accessories, but it has like a comic book stand. It has like a stand that you can put a Wolverine comic book in the backdrop there. And it looks really, really cool. And the one thing that I also wanted to note is that this dropped officially on Sideshow. I'm assuming Josh is going to have this on Comic Concepts for those who are looking for it, but $160 in the States. Right, so I can't imagine how much this cost in overseas, right? In Hong Kong, it's usually about 25% less. So at that point, what you're paying like $120, $110 for this thing over there overseas. Now we're paying 160 in the States. That's pretty fucking good for a figure. It looks it's a good. Keco, how do we feel about these cheaper 1/6 scale figures? I mean, there's a lot to like here for this price.
Do you remember when Carl Lewis sang the national anthem and he couldn't get through it and went, "Uh-oh"? Well, that's kind of what collectors are probably going to end up doing if this is a gateway to 1/6 collecting. That's all I can say, because anyone can spend $160, if you want to call it that, and get this probably out the door. It's sub 200 to you if you live in the States. That's very dangerous, if you ask me, because we rack up Iron Man prices, Spidey prices, exclusive. I mean, we were not even batting an eye at $550 when it comes to Artisan figures and things like that. No problem. That's fine. But let's say there's some people on the edge that aren't 100% sure if they want $300 for a figure, a toy. I mean, this is just, it's a very appealing option. Now, we don't know anything about it. There's very little we know other than its name, what it comes with, and that there's a lot of possibilities. But for this cost, it's almost, why not? Just give it a shot, because I don't know about you, Will, but I've wasted more than $160 on some third-party figures that were ass.
Ravenclaw.
So Ravenclaw, and I tell you what, Will, I might even bust out the reviews again and review this figure when it does come, because if y'all want to see that, let us all know.
Yeah,
but there's a lot to be liked here. Look, there's interchangeable faceplates. I don't know the quality of the tailoring, especially with like the spandex, and we'll see. There are some weird proportions potentially, but for $160, why not? I mean, take a chance. It's Wolverine. It looks pretty good. It's exponentially better, I think, than even the Sideshow version, which I don't think looks great. I think the proportions on this and even the musculature look a lot better. And the head sculpt is a lot better than you'll get with the other one. So for $160, why the hell not? Now, I know people already talked about it. Maybe you even have this as a point, but there is like a Thor silhouette, a Magneto silhouette on the back of like the stand or whatever they had this like on display. Are those more they're going to dive into? Maybe, but I'm interested to see what else is in the 160 ballpark. And I'm sure there'll be some that are a little bit less, maybe some that are a little bit more, but anything that's around like $150. I mean, if you're a 6-scale collector and you're wanting to get into it, here you go. If you've been waiting, there you go. And we've been waiting for Optical, so let's hear his opinion on that. Optical, good to have you on the show today.
Man, I've been shopping for this. I don't know where to go.
Yeah, is that what it is, Optical? You've been shopping for this Wolverine? Because I just posted a poll, Optical, and I spelled his name as Hot Toys originally spelled it, the Wolverine. So yeah, you know. But dude, Optical, good to have you, man. How you doing?
Oh, thanks, man. Happy to be here.
You do professional as fuck as always.
Very excited, you know.
Yeah, dude, very excited. Happy to be here. Highlight of my day for sure, bro. Well, Optical, I gotta ask you. I know you posted a preview video which I watched. I want to ask you about this Wolverine here. I mean, this is a cheaper 1/6 scale figure. We pulled it up just a second ago, showing that it was $160 on the Sideshow. Right, that's pretty remarkable considering what actually is coming with this. 3 faceplates, you know, the claws, the stand with the comic book fit a base in there, which is really cool. Like Keco would mention with the silhouettes on the back of other characters, that's pretty cool. Optical, dude, this is new territory. What do you think about this?
The Hot Toys did not get the memo. Collectors are willing to pay $1,000 now,
right, for one figure. Well, that's why I think it's exciting, because like Hot Toys said, "Fuck it, let's go the opposite direction. Let's make it cheaper." Right.
So these companies, the statue companies, are creating sub LLCs or sub companies for their cheaper lines. Right. And Hot Toys did the same things. You know what? We're gonna do Hono or whatever it's called, and we're gonna go cheaper than Hot Toys. And Hot Toys is the new JND, and then Hono is their Kojun Works.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's like cheaper. But hey, I don't know what happened here, but are toys priced like toys nowadays? Jesus, what just happened here?
Dude, I don't think so.
Hey, 1990 called. We are back, baby.
Yeah, man.
Am I not paying $1,000 for this? You know, I'm getting myself used to like paying $500 for an MMS now. But I think it's great. I mean, regardless of how it looks like. I mean, if it looks like 3.0, it's because it's priced like 3.0, you know. So I think there's always something for everyone. And to be fair, I'm surprised that Sideshow is putting this up for this cheap, because this is directly competition to their 245 Wolverine and the one that cracks on the elbow and whatnot. But I'm happy for this. I mean, I feel like it should be cheap because there's no likeness in here. It's a cartoon. And it reflects the price. I mean, anything lower than that, that's lower than a third party. I mean, is that do I want it to be 120? Sure, but is it realistic? It's probably not. But I love it. I love the idea that they're cheap.
I love it too, Optical, and that's something. And we got really good questions in the chat here, and it's really hard to answer them. Like Lewis Anderson asked, and Manos Papa, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that correctly, but Lewis said, why is it so cheap? Is the quality any good? I mean, look, apparently, as far as we know, this is a Hot Toys, like sort of like different line from Hot Toys. It's a different brand under the Hot Toys banner, because Hot Toys posted this, as did Sideshow. They reposted Hot Toys content. So this looks like a Hot Toys sort of cheaper brand, cheaper line that's a little more affordable for collectors. It's like, what, 25-30% cheaper than what you pay for a typical Hot Toy. So,
and just think, this NRD is about equivalent to a McDonald's value meal. Just think about that.
Yeah, right. Because what, 10% is what, $16, right? So yeah, that's crazy.
If you get a Big Mac,
is that how much a value meal is nowadays?
Yeah, I mean, if you get a large value meal, especially if you get like a double quarter pounder or something, you're approaching $12-13 easy.
Damn.
Because
Okay.
trust me, I know. I went through the drive-through
You
just the
did.
other
You
day,
did. You
and I
filmed
did
it
a
on
video.
TikTok.
My
You did it
experience
on-
right here.
Exactly, Optical. But like, I think it's pretty exciting because again, what you touch on, Optical and Keco, I want to see if you agree with this. Like, what everyone's doing, J&D is going expensive, InArt's going expensive. Hot Toys has their Artisan line, but Hot Toys is really starting to offer something for everyone. And I find that really appealing and a really smart strategy. When everyone's going up in price, they are too on certain things, but they're going down in price on certain things to make it, you have like a line for everyone. Do you think that's a smart strategy, Keco?
If they want to make money, sure. But for the
Yeah.
purist collectors out there, they're going to be really upset about this because,
Mm.
the real collectors only buy the stuff, buy nice, buy twice. Not saying that you're one of the real collectors, Will, but there's plenty of people that said because it's a lower value, don't waste your time on it type of thing. Don't buy stuff that's shitty and cheap. If you're a real collector, you're going to get the J&D shit or you're going to get the InArt stuff. But this is great if you want to have more people into the hobby. If you want to be an elitist, which I am, I'll be honest about that. But if you want to be an elitist and you don't want new people coming into the hobby, then yeah, you're probably mad about this because this is going to open up the floodgates. Imagine if they did this during in-game around that time when the hype was so high and they started issuing $150 in-game type figures. Now, the biggest question is this their way? We talked last week, I think, about what are they going to do when the the writer's strike eventually comes full circle and there's no new movies out. What are they going to do? Maybe this is their answer, is that they're going to dive into the comic book and animation, and this is the way they do it. I understand, the video game series, the Into the Spider-Verse, those are movies, but this is actual comic book cartoons. Is there any other cartoon that was made from Hot Toys? I don't know. I'm actually asking anybody that. I don't think there's an actual cartoon that they've ever done.
Clone Wars, but that's it.
That's still lifelike. They still did a realistic interpretation. So if they're going to dive into cartoons like the animated series of Spider-Man, X-Men 97's coming up on Disney Plus, this is a way they can keep it going, because think about the 90s bait out there of just the X-Men, the Amazing Spider-Man, going back to, open up some other, IPs that are cartoons. Go back to Captain Planet and different things like that. Who knows? This is intriguing because if they end up going all in for X-Men 97, which is coming out, that could be, think how many X-Men there are. This, Jubilee, Cyclops, Rogue, Storm, Magneto, Juggernaut, Sabretooth. I mean, you can basically get the entire X-Men lineup for less than J&D. So there you go.
I think this looks really cool though. And again, making it as accessible as possible is really great. And I think that's a really good strategy. I mean, I think that Hot Toys is, again, offering something that I think everyone can sort of latch on to, which I think is great. If you want the top end that Hot Toys can offer, you go for the Artisan figure. If you want the normal Hot Toys, you can grab that too. Or if you want this line, you can do that. But we were theorizing, I don't think you were on this show, we were theorizing in the next year, Marvel has one film coming out, right? Star Wars apparently has, like, I don't even remember, like maybe one show or something like that, but it sure as shit ain't much, right?
Skeleton
so what is Hot
Crew
Toys?
And maybe the Acolyte, which
right?
does not
Maybe,
look exciting.
maybe. And then at that point, Keco, like, what is Hot Toys going to make? Again, like you said perfectly, they're not just going to sit on their hands and make nothing, right? So we speculated there was going to be reissues or maybe characters they hadn't made. But Optical, I mean, maybe they, like Keco said, maybe they go into this comic book shit. What do you think?
I think that they'll be smart to do so, because do have you're this toy company. What are you going to do if there's no source material? So you got to find a way, and you can't sell this for, I mean, maybe you could for a regular Hot Toys, but with the current economy, people are going to be like, what? I'm not going to pay. I mean, Wolverine might sell, but how about Gambit, for example? Can you sell that for 400? So I think it's kind of smart for them to dive into this, and it's different than what we're receiving now. So now 150 or 160 looks really cheap. Well, in reality, you can buy a 4K monitor for that, but but it looks really cheap compared to what we're seeing now. So now you're being like, hey, man, even if I break this, for example, if you play around with it, you'll be like, hey, it's a bad quality, the elbow cracks, whatever. It's 150. Buy another one. It's 300 now. Now it's like one Hot Toy. It's practically one Hot Toy. Now you got two. So I think it's a great move by them. Like, hey, you want the premium stuff? We got Artisan for that. You're the middle kind of person, we got Hot Toys for that. Hey, you're trying to save money? Then I don't think everything's going to be made by Hono, whatever it's named. I don't think you can put that label to anything. It's like, hey, this is a cheap Anakin. No, it's very specific characters that will be made by this, sub company. So I think it's great.
I think so too, man. And I'm excited that people are getting some comic book iterations. Again, those aren't for me, but I think it's pretty fucking cool, man. I think it's cool that Hot Toys is doing this type of stuff. And again, it is sort of like innovation is not the right word, but I think it is creative in terms of this business and this economy and this market that we're operating in. So I think it's exciting. So guys, let us know in the comments below whether you're considering picking this up. This is about 50-50 right now in the chat on whether people are picking this up, which is way higher than most figures in most polls. So I think that this is pretty exciting. So I want to hear what you guys think about that in the comments below. That said, guys, thank you so much for your thoughts on that one. We got some other important news items to hit on here, but Hono Studios, I think, is a pretty exciting development for Hot Toys. So excited to see more of what that comes to fruition like. So that said, let's talk about something else kind of interesting. I'm sure you guys saw this, the Hot Toys Artisan figures, right? Some photos were posted at a Korean pop-up store, a Hot Toys store, where Joker and Anakin were looking pretty rough, and people were pretty upset about that. And which is why I made a video on it, because people were saying, damn, Anna Karen and I guess the Anna Joker, or Joker Karen, I don't know, because one of those two, because it was not looking great. It was not looking great, and collectors were in a little bit of a panic. I heard some people saying they were going to cancel, which Keco was probably thrilled about because he wants that Anakin. But for most people, the Hot Toys posted some updated photos, which we will share in a sec. But I want to share these photos first, and Keco, get to you first on this one. With these type of photos, all of us have been in collecting for at least several years now, right? Again, no one's ever claimed they're an expert here, but I think we all claim we have a little bit of experience and a little bit of, witnessing this stuff and engaging in this type of stuff. So we can speak to that a little bit. Keco, seeing these photos, seeing sort of this Anna Karen here with the hairstyle a little bit messed up, is this time to hit the panic button, or is this like sort of a, let's just style this shit and relax? What do you think?
This is Sideshow Con 2.0, because when this was originally put out there, everyone's like, hell no, they ain't going to be able to do this right. It looks like he just rolled out of bed, For some reason, they've not really sent the experts to take care of these. And this essentially is what you can expect. And these are the good ones
these are the good ones
that people have done it. So under the right lighting, with the right people that are caring for it, you get something that looks decent. Go back to that Joker, because that is abysmal. Like, that looks like the one that came out of my InArt box, honestly. Like, that literally is the InArt Joker that I had.
That one probably got a little more people upset than the Anakin did.
Yeah, and just because it's got the silly sculpt with the tongue, so I know people are upset about. But I know a lot of people don't want to have to do any of the futzing styling or whatever. But having owned an InArt figure, I understand that that's probably going to be part of it if you're going to do some of the rooting. Every single female rooted hair figure that I have in my collection, I'm playing with it like a Barbie doll. I'm wrapping it around her ears. I'm pulling it down her back, trying to get it to lay right. And so if I do that with those, fine. I guess I'm going to have to do it with these. But the thing that irritated me with the InArt one is because I was missing product in it, whatever. So this is going to work fine for Joker. I feel like you can probably do the same thing with Anakin. Just add a little bit of water to it. There's probably some product in that. If the Wanda one comes out bad, I don't know what to do about that, because I don't know if you saw that, like, Queen Studios things like, hey, if you need help with your thing, take it to a local salon. I'm like, I can tell you right now is that I'm not taking anything to my wife's salon saying fix my doll's hair. And
you should do it.
No,
film it.
No, because someone actually came in there, and I think I told you this, or maybe someone else in my messages. Someone came in with a picture of Link from Breath of the Wild, and like, Amy, can you do this? And she's like, huh? This, I want it like this. Do you have a picture of a real person? No, this is all I have. She's like, sit in the chair, we'll figure it out. But so no, if she won't even really do a Link haircut on a human, she's not going to style my doll for me. All that to say, I don't know if we need to panic yet, because I want, actually, go ahead and panic.
Because you want the Anakin.
We don't need this. And let's not do that. But in all seriousness, I really don't think so, because if just do a little bit of messing with it, I think we'll be okay.
That's hilarious, Keco. You're like, you know what? No, go ahead and panic. Actually, go ahead and cancel.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm ready, bitches.
Yeah, Keco's ready. He's just waiting to pounce. Optical, what do you think, bro? I know, like you said, I always bring up your experience and sort of longevity in the collecting game. And, I'm sure you've seen this over and over and over again. We all do this. We overreact to photos and videos and blogger photos and early reviews and this and that. What do you think about this, Optical, with these photos? Would you be panicking if you paid $500 for this?
The most recent panic was the Wolverine. Okay, so
Wolverine.
not about the name, but the face. Did you see all the comments? It was like, yeah,
Yeah.
man, he looks like Kurt Russell. The face
Yep.
is too wide, and then they got it in hand. They didn't even have to wait long because MRC uploaded the video maybe like 2 hours later.
Mhm.
And I was just like, you guys are panicking for absolutely nothing. I mean, maybe it's a lens distortion or whatever the case is, right? Like in the video, it looks fine. I mean, it might not. The decrease in quality is probably like within reason, like 10% or 5%, whatever the case is, right? Now it's different here because this is new territory for Hot Toys. It's hair, so it's not just lens distortion here. We actually see that it's kind of bad. This one is actually one of the decent ones, right? The
This
hair.
one's not bad. Yeah, this one's good.
This is pretty decent. To be fair, the Joker's hair was pretty consistently bad, even though in the prototype. So if you didn't press the panic button there, don't be crying for panic button now. I mean, it was bad in prototype, so they weren't lying. They're consistent. Anakin is different. He was good in prototype, really good, as a matter of fact. I don't think they're gonna let it come out like this. Like Keco said, like the guys who's taking this out.
And you
they'll be
got to assume some of these people are just getting it messed up and shipping. I mean, I've been moving figures all week, you know, moving them from one shelf to another, laying it down or whatever. Maybe that's what this is. You know, they just threw them all in a box, put them on a shelf, put it up, and maybe another figure's leg was resting up against its head or whatever. But I have a hard time, kind of what Optical's saying. I have a hard time thinking that's kind of come out of the box looking like this.
I mean, look at this.
I'm hopeful.
Here. I mean, look at this.
Yeah,
it's
right.
like,
I just don't think they put much effort into the posing. Right.
Yeah, I was just like, you know what? Let's put this together. The boss.
it's like, bitch, I'm off in 5 minutes. I got my Taco Bell waiting for me. Just throw it on the stand. We go. Let's go.
Yeah, I just, you know, I don't think this is their Artisan. This is their first line. The Joker, I'm not too confident about. Like, fine, I give them the. If that comes out bad, to be fair, it was bad on prototype. So, you know, but this one's decent. The Anakin, even if it's bad when you get him, kind of like Keco's Joker from InArt, maybe, you know, probably that sort of bad, not this kind of bad. You know, like this is horrible. I don't know. First and foremost, there's no panic button. You press the panic button. What are you gonna do? Cancel it? Go ahead. Me and Keco are waiting in, you know, on the wings. You can panic all you want. I'm snagging.
Optical, which one do you have? Which one are you waiting on?
Anakin. I don't, you know, that
Same,
Joker.
damn it, because I got the Joker one already,
they
but I
have
already
the
have
Joker.
an Joker.
They
Yeah,
can
I'm
have
willing
the
to trade
Joker.
my Joker if I
Just
need
get the JND and you're fine.
There you go. Yeah.
Yes, but Optical, I would disagree with you on one thing. I think the Joker prototype was actually pretty good in the photos. And when Hot Toys shared that video with Howard Chan and other Hot Toys employees, I thought the Joker looked pretty solid there. This photo is much better. But again, these are, I don't know what it is about these conventions. They're very harsh lighting, very harsh. And all of them sort of show the figures in not the greatest sort of quality and just, you know, lighting in general. But I mean, I'm with you guys. Anakin generally looks better. I mean, but I think overall, I think they just, you know, look, there's a lot of effort that has to go into posing and these type of things. And again, I'm not saying I'm perfect with that. I'm not the greatest poser or styler either, but I'm trying to get better at it. It just takes a lot of effort. And I think these photos just don't indicate that was a factor. Like, I don't think that they just do a lot of effort into these, and that's what it is. But I wouldn't panic. And I made a video about this, telling people sort of not to panic yet, because again, if you panic now and you cancel now, you get fucking nothing out of it. So like if it comes out and it looks like ass, then cancel it, and then you can eat the NRD, fine, not the end of the world, right? But if you cancel now, you eat the NRD and then it comes out looking great and you're like, fuck my life, now I want it. Now you're gonna have to go pay double for it. So it's just, don't do that to yourself. It's an exclusive figure. We don't know how it's going to come out. Don't cancel it yet, unless Keco can get one. Other than that, you can cancel it if you want.
And the beauty is, most likely you bought it. I mean, if you're in the US and Sideshow, this is one thing you can't do if it's InArt. Like if it's messed up, kind of like what Keco got with his Joker, you can actually return it to Sideshow, regardless of what the reason is. You know, like you can return anything to Sideshow, even if it's not broken. You just be like, it's messed up. I don't want it anymore. So there's no reason to cancel, really, if you bought it from Sideshow. Now, if you bought it somewhere else, then, you know,
right.
Toys Wonderland, then that's a different. Good luck canceling it regardless, but you know.
Yeah, it's true. And I don't know how the policy works. Like,
regardless.
Yeah. Oh, Optical disappeared.
Oh, I got mad. T-Dub sniped him.
T-Dubs this time. They said, make that fucking comment again, bro. And they just like sniped him out of the fucking stream. That's great. By the way, Dinesh is in the chat. Keco, like I told you, Dinesh is the man. He's the man to hit up. So
I have I have some hooks in the water for if I don't get it converted. So thank you,
Nice.
everybody.
Well, Dinesh, thanks so much, bro, for offering that. But yeah, guys, like I said, these other photos, these newer photos at Tokyo Comic Con are much better. It's funny, I originally canceled this Joker, and I think I want to get it back just because I want to at least review it. I want to see it in hand because I am going to compare it to the in-art figure, and I think I'm going to pick up the JND at least for a review, and then just I want to compare all three of them. So that's something I do want to make a video about. So I think that would be pretty cool, and I'm excited for this Hot Toys Joker. Honestly, this might be the best Joker head sculpt. But as far as the hair, I think NR definitely is better. But I do think that, and the NR head sculpt is right there. It's very close. It's like, right there. But this Hot Toys head sculpt is for Joker, Heath Ledger is really good. It's really good. I don't
Have
love
you ever seen Yellow Jackets, Will?
Like the animal, like the insect?
No, the show Yellow Jackets.
No, I haven't seen it.
Well, that one picture where it showed the Joker's hair a minute ago looks like Misty, what is it? Misty Quigley from Yellow Jackets.
Someone in the chat is gonna have to drop that one because that's an obscure reference, bro. I've never seen Yellow Jackets.
It's like one of those highest streaming shows on Paramount.
Is one of the highest streaming?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know, bro. I only know about Last of Us 1 and 2. That's it. So, and Optical does too. So I bought the Optical. I bought the remastered edition, the Steelbook, by the way. So I'm pretty excited.
You're
about
crazy.
That. Yeah. I already have the game. So, and I'm crazy. And I bought the Steelbook was $100 too.
Wow.
So, yeah, but it was worth it. Anyway, guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments below on these Artisan figures because, again, we don't want to hit the panic button too quickly, but there are some concerning things. However, we're going to see how this shakes out. I think Hot Toys is going to get it done. I have some feelings that they're going to get it done. Keco, that I should probably share that photo, but I won't for now. Maybe I'll pull it up a little bit later. Anyway, guys, let's get to the topic that everyone wants to talk about, J&D. J&D 6-scale Kojin Works Heath Ledger Joker. It's the character that we need, but not the one we need right now. Because everyone is talking about why Joker? That's like probably the most prevalent comment that I've seen on every video that I've made about the J&D Studios Joker. Everyone says, I love this. It looks great, but why Joker? Because people are a little bit jokered out. However, it does look really fucking good. So I don't have any actual concrete information on this. However, I've heard rumors, I've heard speculation, I've heard things said here and there behind closed doors of how much this could actually cost. I've heard rumors there could be a 2-pack costing somewhere around $2,000. I don't know what exactly is going to come with it. There could be a single pack costing, there are various versions, but $800 to $1,200. We don't know. That's just speculation, but somewhere around there. At minimum, you're paying $800 for these, right? So for one Joker figure, that's a lot, especially when the Wolverine is $160. But no doubt this is a better figure. There's a lot of innovations going on here, a lot of exciting things. That said, $800 to $1,200 for one figure, plus some accessories. We'll talk about that, and maybe $2,000 for a 2-pack. People fucking complained when InArt was $1,000 for a 2-pack. Now we're talking about $2,000 for a 2-pack. That's precisely double for mathematically inclined people. Keco, is this J&D going to be worth the price? What do you think?
No, and I don't fucking care.
This yes, is you
do. No, I'm not. This is not for me. And I don't care. I do not care. This has the biggest pile of bullshit of having it just to have it so you can justify the price I've ever seen in my life. So one of the big perks about this is, fuck, it's got an actual skull underneath it. Why? Why do you need that? And how the fuck do you know when you get yours that it's going to have the skull underneath it there? How do you know this isn't just a marketing trick? You're going to be busting yours open and taking a hacksaw to it to just see, oh, fuck, it really did have the skull underneath it. What is the point of that? Like, why? And like all these like little silicone busts reminds me of those like medieval warrior game shows. They're like, hey, someone's gonna forge an axe and we'll show you what it looks like on a silicone dummy, and it shows like the axe and it like shows the like ballistic shells of the chest. That's what this looks like to me. But it's so absurd, and everyone's like, each hair stitched by hand. I'm like, okay, great, God, thank you for putting every hair on your head that we know about. That's great. It's just so like over the top, and believe me, it's that part from Jurassic Park. He's like, 10,000 a day, 3,000 a day, and people will pay it. That's the thing. People are going to pay it. Like, ooh, magnetic moving eyes. Oh my God. Yeah. Imagine like your magnet not working and it gets stuck with like the Steve Buscemi eyes. What are you going to do then? Because then, something's what are you going to do? You have to break the thing open, look at the skull, and then everyone's like, well, for $2,000, it better not be break. Something's going to go wrong. There no doubt is something will go wrong. And if you are that person, be like, you know what, I need to have the real shit. You know, I'm not sitting there buying $160 Hono toy. You know, I don't need to worry about any of that. This is what a real collector looks like. Look at me, worship me, look at my display. And you show this thing. Okay, great. So all I can say is that this is not for me. I do not care. If it was a different figure, maybe. But yeah, you can miss me with that bullshit because this is the most absurd thing just for the sake of having it. And here's the thing. They're like, well, you see, this is opening up the door to have more and more technology and more innovations. Okay, maybe the magnet eyes might be innovation, but a fucking skull under a silicone head, that is not innovation. Because here's the thing. Who knows what's going to happen to it in 10 years? Everyone's like, well, that's what you say, Keco. You want to live in the now. You don't like to be worrying about what's going to happen in 10 years, waiting for my in-art. Okay, fair. That's fair. You know what? Enjoy it now. But if something goes wrong, silicone is known to not technically stay around forever. So perhaps these patent pending technology things are going to be revolutionary and sweet. That's going to really move us forward down the line. It's only innovation if another person can take it and build upon it. This is not going to allow Hot Toys to really do much of anything, especially at that price. So maybe I'm done. And I'm just talking out my ass. So someone talk to me here. Optical, come save me.
Yeah, Optical, you have to save Keco. That's why I love this topic, because I knew Keco was going to go on a fucking rant, and that was great. That was worth every second of it. But Optical, I want to let you jump in, and I'll give my opinion on this. But I mean, you know, like I said, again, your experience is always something that we want to draw on. I mean, this is very uncharted territory. What do you think?
Dude, the question is, will it be worth the price? Somebody's gonna pay for it, because like Keco said, you know, something's for everyone. I was like, yeah, man, your Joker is trash compared to mine. So I've kind of heard that maybe a few months ago. Oh yeah, when JND came out, they're like, "Oh, your Joker Hot Toys is trash." So now is JND mid now?
You mean is InArt mid? Right.
I mean, yeah. I mean, is InArt mid?
Well, that's
now?
the question. Is InArt mid now because of
the new
JND?
Hot Toys now because JND? Because I've heard this. You know, when InArt came out, I was like, well, I want the best quality representation of toys that I can put on my shelf. Well, this is the best Joker that you can put on your shelf. If we're talking about just quality, right? Let's just pretend that this is what it's advertised to be, right? Magnetic eyes, silicone. Isn't this become the top Joker then?
Yeah, it seems so.
Within that,
but isn't the point of Hot Toys is to be a toy to where you can touch it? You can't do anything with this, in my opinion, because there is no precedent to be able to say, oh yeah, you can play with this without worrying about it. Matt, do you have to wear gloves to handle the silicone? I am not about to put on new clothes just to be able to handle some of these toys.
Put on new clothes.
Like, let's pretend that this would last, right? Like, let's pretend that this patent pen. Let's just pretend that everything went well. Like everything is as advertised. This is not gonna melt in 30 years. Blah blah blah. You know, the magnet's not gonna give in. Let's just pretend everything went well. So this is now the Joker. So does that mean JND is? I mean, does that mean Queen InArt is totally irrelevant now? Because they're gonna one up everything that InArt is gonna do. Let's pretend that's gonna happen. Because I mean, look at this. Like, if we're talking about quality, if they're the same price, don't tell me you're not gonna pick this up. You know, more than InArt.
That's the thing, though.
Right?
I don't think they will be the same price. I think JND is gonna be more expensive.
So,
yeah.
Because that's what I heard when InArt came out. Like, Hot Toys looks like a toy. This is quality that we're looking for. Now, this is better than InArt. Where's that same energy, though? You know, like, where is it? Like, I thought that, the top tier guys were like, you want the best of the best. Well, maybe this is the best of the best.
Yeah.
Where is it? So is it worth the price? So now we'll see about those guys that are gushing over that. I was like, yeah, I want realism in my, skull underneath. There you go. You can't get more real. The only thing is we're going to put more organs next time. Maybe
put actual organs in there.
Some lungs,
like functional hearts and things like that.
Yeah.
It's like
this is there. Well, we never got to actually finish Megan, but essentially this is this much closer to being the Megan doll, to where it interacts with you like, hello, would you want to hear a tonight? We're that close to it actually starting to talk to us potentially.
Yeah. Yeah, it can like do your laundry and shit at some point. Yeah. I mean, that's,
That would be
but optical, I
helpful.
mean, this is, dude, I honestly, like, I understand where you guys are coming from on this one. I've always been kind of a little bit skeptical of J&D. I've not owned one of their products, but, I do think overall they make really high quality things. Some of it with some breakages from what I've heard, but again, it's sort of anecdotal. I don't know. Right. But we're going to get to this question as well in a sec. Once we finish up with this one, we're going to continue this J&D discussion. But like, I think maybe optical, maybe the lack of excitement comes from a couple areas. For one, people are joking out, and two, do we reach a breaking point? Because with InArt, right, it was like, okay, maybe that's like, you can push us to that limit. Maybe we'll pay $400 to $500 for a figure. And yes, of course, there will be a market for this. Don't hear what I'm not saying. There are people that will fucking buy this, and it doesn't have to be for everyone. That is more than fine. There's going to be a market for this. But for most collectors, like people who watch these live streams and people that will generally shop on Sideshow and other places, of course, you can't get this to Sideshow, but you get the idea. Like, is $1,000 for one figure when your yearly budget is somewhere around $3,000 or less? Is that going to be the breaking point? And sort of these type of innovations that we're talking about and showcasing, they're amazing, but are they necessary? And that's the question that we're going to have to ask ourselves. Like, is this type of realism truly necessary and groundbreaking enough that it's going to warrant people spending a third of their budget, particularly when they could put that money towards like a statue and get that? Like, it's a bigger piece, it has a little more presence to it, and it will probably cost you a somewhat similar amount. So that's the question, right? I mean, like, yeah, it's fucking great. It looks amazing. That's why I put it in the title. It's amazing because it is. It looks absolutely phenomenal. But it's like, does that even matter if we're getting to the point where you're paying $2,000 for two figures?
But Will, like, remember, we had the same conversation when InArt came out.
We did.
But the difference is the price, right? But back then, the price didn't matter. It was just like, I just want the best version that I could get. Is it the quality? Or we're discussing on with InArt? No, it's the quality. And then JND comes out. Now the price is an issue, but it's not an issue. So is it really quality or price? Because InArt is somewhat doable, but since there wasn't a competitor back then, I guess the question is, did JND push it too much? If it's really 1,000, right? Is it too much? So if they step it down, let's take out the skull. That's a solution for something that's not even a problem.
Right.
Take out the skull. I like the magnetic eyes though.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, take out the skull. If this was only, I guess the better question is, take out the skull. If this is 200 more than InArt, I guess is that more of a discussion now?
I think it is. And because we don't have an exact 1-to-1, because InArt didn't have a rooted hair single pack Joker, right? So that it's a little bit difficult, but let's just speculate it would have been 500 to 600, maybe 600, right? Like at that point for maybe less, because maybe you wouldn't have the jail cell diorama, so maybe 500 to 600, right? And then, but you look at this one, it's probably going to be at least 800. So it's about what, like 40% more, 34% more?
Because that sounds really like foul when you hear $1,000 for one figure. But I guess the real conversation is, if you take out all the cell diorama, and all that stuff, like one pack for $600. Now, is this the top tier now? Now, do we have a conversation now? Because there's no doubt this is cool. There's no doubt this innovation, that those fingers, I love it. I want to have it. I'm not going to pay $1,000 for it, but I like it. The neck, the seamless neck, that's cool. Maybe it won't break. Maybe it would break, but let's take their word for it. Let's say it's going to last 30 years, whatever. They said that on statue, but then again, no one touches a statue. No one poses a statue. So this is going to have oils in your fingers, Cheetos, whatever, all over the figure. But let's just assume it'll last. $200 more. Now is this a serious conversation now? Where is it worth it now? Because now we're saying ouch to the 1,000, but we don't know yet. We don't know that yet. But one thing we do know now, if we can all agree, this is more innovative than InArt.
Right.
Because InArt just took Hot Toys to a higher level. They put rooted hair, and they put rotating eyes in every figure. Cool.
But those are functional innovations
and magnetic bases if they work right. But
magnetic bases. But Hot Toys been doing purse for a long time. They've been doing rooted hair, which they're not as good as InArt, but they took it to the next level, which articulated fingers, no seam on the neck, which is those are the skull. I agree, that's totally pointless, but having no seam on the neck and you can rotate it. You don't have to switch hands maybe, because let's just pretend that it's all going to work, right? If that works, is that worth an extra 200-300? The magnetic eyes. You don't have to take out the back of the head.
Right.
Is that worth it? To me, it's still not.
No, I mean, because InArt was trying to do that with Pennywise, but they couldn't quite get the technology to work the way it wanted to. But this technology is what they were going to do. They were going to do the magnetic system with the magnet and move the eyes around, but they couldn't again quite get it right. So J&D, I guess, feels confident they can, but it's just. But again, I think I was talking to Justin about this. He was saying like with that, it could be problematic because like what if you have the magnet and then like you move it away and then the eye's still following it? Like it could be, I guess we'll find out, see how it's going to work in practice. But again, you have to think about the aftercare and whether there's issues with all this innovation and technology. What if something goes wrong? It's like, there's a lot to consider here.
Like I said, even if you just pretend that everything's going to work fine, is 8 or let's say 600 really worth it for a Joker? Let's pretend, okay, we have a lot of Jokers. We're Jokered out. Let's switch this to another Marvel character. Or another Warner Brothers character.
Someone was asking, would I still want that or pay that for Michael Jackson? Someone was asking that in the chat.
800 Michael Jackson, seamless, magnetic eyes. Would you do that, Keco? 800
for one single figure. It would have to be absolutely otherworldly, and I need to know whether or not it's going to hold up. That's the thing. And
I guess you won't. Then it's a leap of faith.
You won't. Let's pretend it will. 800.
But you want to take a leap of faith for $1,000?
That's what we did with InArt with Joker.
That's what we did. Yeah, we did with InArt.
Did we?
And
I mean, because we had Queen Studios, but that was InArt's first real figure. We paid $1,000.
No, they gave you a sculpted, they gave you a rooted, they gave you a 2-pack. You could swing for the lower, for a single instead of a home run.
Sure.
You could have said, I'll take a chance.
But a lot of us didn't.
There is no other chance.
Yeah,
There's
a lot of us
people that got the sculpted version.
No, but I think most people got the rooted. I would assume. I mean, that's what it seems like to me.
I don't know. There's a lot sitting. There's a lot sitting on eBay right now. So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
probably because there's so many options now. But I think because that's my point. Like we all took a little bit of we had a lot of faith in InArt, but we all took a little bit of risk with them too. It's we paid $1,100
for $800. Going back to this, for $800 for a J&D Michael Jackson or whatever. For like the Black Series Blitzway 1/4 scale is I think $1,400 essentially, and everyone's like, oh my god. Well, for one, a lot bigger, a lot more detail. You have to think. You're talking 12 inches. Is that level of detail for that cost? Think about how close you have to be able to see that, even for that. And to me, I just don't think so, because unless you are literally with it just right here, you're not going to see this. Yeah, it's great to kind of see it from afar. A bigger statue, a 1/4 scale, a 1/3 or whatever. Yeah, I understand the price and the silicone makes sense. I have a 1/3 Michael Jackson statue myself, and that makes sense for that. But for this, I just don't think the scale warrants it. And for $800, going back to it, you would have to have something to where the lights are interactive, the base, it can't just be the figure. And there's got to be more with this than just the figure.
It could also be the character choice, because people are again Jokered out, because you've seen Keco. I know you have 2 Optical. A lot of people have said, what if this were Terminator? Right? What if this were Arnold? What if this were Arnold Terminator and he was $1,000 and he was battle damage and all that shit? And
if maybe it's a $1,000 2-pack, sure, we're talking again. But
yeah, I don't think.
But then you're talking diecast though, because if you do diecast, we have $500-600 for Iron Man. Sure, yeah. I'll pay $1,000 for a diecast T800. Sure.
Right, because I mean at that point, but again, I think that might just be what we've normalized, because I think J&D is going to create a new sense of normal, and whether we agree with it or not, I think that's what's going to happen. Again, not everyone's going to buy this. This is for the top tier of collector who wants to pay this type of price for the top tier 1/6 quality. But it could just be again the character choice. Like again, if you make Terminator, I think you might have a lot more people excited to pay this type of price.
Asking Keco about Michael Jackson is beautiful though, because we're going to spend different amounts for different characters. So what you're saying is depending on the person, right? Like, but Keco, I know he's a big Michael Jackson fan, and he's not willing, he's not holding back to spend on a quality for something that he loves. And I know he loves Michael Jackson, but the fact that for 800, and I told him, it's like, it could be a perfect 800, but that's it, a figure that has silicone that's not going to melt, that his eyes are going to rotate. I think Keco still paused at 800, and he loves Michael Jackson. So I think we've reached a breaking point here where a single figure, regardless of how perfect he is, let's say nothing's gonna melt or whatever.
The scale doesn't make sense to me.
The scale, right? Yeah, I think once you cross a threshold, I don't know, in Keco maybe 800, 600. To me, it was 5 or 400. Like if it's 1/6, there's only so much I can do with that, right? Like there's only so much that I could display it with. I know it's perfect, but at the end of the day, you're getting a 1/6 figure. So I think the breaking point is depending on the person. Keco, it's 8. It might be different for all of us. I guess the question is, for majority of the people, what would be that breaking point? Because there's a reason why JND and InArt came here. They want to mass produce. They want to tap into the 1/6, and maybe they're pricing themselves out. Maybe they're thinking because InArt 2-pack Joker sold that I can price my Joker for 1 pack for 1,000. So we'll see. I don't know. Let's see about the collectors though.
Yeah, and that's the question again that I want to bring up and raise to you guys. Have we reached that breaking point when it comes to 1/6 scale, or maybe are we just not accustomed to this yet? Is this again with optical? You mentioned InArt as an example, and I think we were having maybe similar type of conversations when InArt dropped. I think that was something where again I was definitely wrong on that in the beginning when I said I'm not so sure that people are going to line up to pay these type of prices for a Gandalf for $550, and that was clearly wrong. Right. I think there are a lot of people that are willing to do so, especially now that it's sold out and there are people in the aftermarket paying a lot more than that. So I think clearly there is a demand for higher quality products. It just depends on what type of collector you're talking about, I think. And I think at the end of the day, some of these, I saw a comment again. That's again why I would love to have J&D. If they're not going to come on and do an interview, that's fine. But I would love to have them talk about something with the innovation related to the skull. Is the skull sort of structurally important for the silicone? Does that help? Is it really not just like the bullshit sort of innovation? Is it actually practical and has utility? That's the question, right? And we don't know these things because they haven't yet communicated. Maybe we're jumping the gun, but and we don't know the prices yet. But I'm just saying, from what I'm hearing, this is probably along the lines of what it's going to be. But again, we got to ask the question: have we reached the breaking point, Keco, of where a figure of it at $1,000 for most collectors is just going to be like, fuck it, I'm done, I'm out. Right?
See, that's the question. That's the question that's raised, is that you keep calling us 1/6 collectors. And right. I know people, I think Daniel in the chat said, this is for different markets. Well, are we all 1/6 collectors then? Because then you're kind of tearing yourself off. Well, I'm a real collector because I collect JND. You're a lame collector because you collect Hot Toys. You're a lame collector because you have Star Ace figures in your thing. I understand, there's the people's budgets and everything. Does that still make you a 6 scale collector? Because I feel, and maybe it's just the way we are as human beings, I feel like it breeds an opportunity to like look down on those that can't get into it. It's like, you don't take it seriously because you didn't want the J&D Joker over the InArt. Someone else in the comments said, well, not everyone collects 1/6. What about cars? Okay, if you collect cars, you're collecting cars. Most cars are expensive or whatever. We all drive in cars, but not everyone collects cars. So I don't know if that's the fair, assessment either, but we're all talking about we're 1/6 collectors. So is there now opening a gate towards tier-based collecting, if you want to call it that, to where, okay, I'm a lower tier collector, I'm a high-end collector. Is that a thing? Is that healthy? I don't know. It's a fun discussion for sure, because you can talk about the way that I collect is better than you, blah, blah, blah. So I'm sure we're going to have a comment about this next week. Another topic again. So we'll
always do every week, just to get the conversation going. But yeah, an optical, and I get where people are coming from with this in terms of this is not going to be for everyone. And I don't want the misinterpretation to occur that anyone, maybe, I don't think this is what Keco is saying, but it's certainly not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing that these figures exist because they're more expensive than most people are willing to pay. I think it's fucking great to have as many options as possible. If you want to have a high-end Joker, which I'm going to buy this for the record, I'm going to get this because I want to review it. And if I end up loving it, maybe I'll get it and sell the InArt, right? I don't know. Maybe it turns out great. I don't need 5 Jokers in my collection. So this is something where I'm just going to evaluate them and see what I like best and then go from there. But I am going to get this, right? And I don't think any of us are saying this is a bad thing because we can't afford it. It's certainly not that. I'm just saying that it's just a matter of, are most collectors going to say, fuck it, I don't give a shit about this, because it's too expensive. And again, you could always make the counter argument, well, it's not for most collectors. Okay, but who is it for then? Is it really for a 1/6 collector is really going to go that optical? I don't know, man. I think it's just, again, I think there's a lot of room for interpretation on how this is going to go. But I mean, do you think, just to round this topic out, do you think that this is reaching sort of the point of no return? What do you think?
This is the problem, because once something comes up and then there's the people who is like, oh, I love JND, you just can't afford it. There's always that banter. Well, we could critique something even though we're not, buy it, right? Like this is why this kind of forum exists. Kind of like, hey, is it now? The question is it worth it? Like, okay, and that's a valid question, because every time that you're gonna buy something, somebody says like, I'm not mad that I can't afford a nice car. I don't. It's like, I'm not mad because Ferrari exists. It's just that at some point, even if you do buy Ferrari, at some point you're gonna be like, what? There's another Ferrari. What does it do? Like, because this is how it is. It feels like these guys are not essential to us. Like this 1.6, the display, whatever. Because the difference is that if you reach a certain number, you could literally buy a statue. I think that's
Right.
where the dilemma is here. Not because it's expensive, so to speak. We've all bought useless things more expensive than this, but you reach to a certain point and now you're leveled up to, like Keco said, a quarter scale statue, or a third scale statue. Now you can't help but kind of compare what you're getting here. I'm paying X amount, like $1,000, while I could have gotten this. And that's the reality of it. At the end of the day, that's why, are you a 1.6 collector? Because at some point you're kind of like being a statue collector now, but with a smaller space. What are you doing this for? Are you displaying this? Because now you got
that's the $1 million question right there.
Yeah.
Well, because I don't know, us collectors for sure. I mean, we collect for us at the end of the day, but when you're looking at these figures on the shelf, like at what point is it sort of a diminishing return? Like, is it sort of like, okay, this is a 6 scale figure. It's 12 inches tall, right? And at that point, how realistic, how true does it really need to be? As realistic as it can be within a reasonable price range. But it's like, are we reaching the point where it's like, okay, like you're getting sort of diminishing return each time for what the item is actually going to offer your display?
But that's
And
the problem. Well, once you say that, people are going to be like, well, I'm not here to make money. Like that is the counter argument. I know that's what we say, but that's the one. Well, you just can't afford it. That's what comes up, and that's the problem when you talk about like things like this. When you talk, because it feels like it's like an iPhone, right? Like you feel like, oh, the pixels are getting higher, the resolution is high. Do you really need them? Like, do we really need a skull?
Sure.
Do we need those fingers to bend? Like, like I'm happy with my old iPhone. Like, and then if you don't want to buy the new Pro Max, whatever, it feels like, well, you just can't afford it. Well, in reality, you just like it came to a point where it's bad to be happy with what you have.
Right.
Like it feels like you're just being envious because you don't want to buy a JND, for example. Like you're just hating. And that's kind of like it's creating a division, but it's good. I like to see this, even though I'm not going to buy this. I love to see this because I'm hoping that this would influence, let's say, Hot Toys, which is a bit more in my range, to step up their game. Because let's be honest, they stepped up their game when InArt came around. Like almost everything now has purse, so they don't have to be DX now to have purse. Maybe they'll implement the new finger thingy.
I think
or
it's
the
vaccine, I think it's great though, Optical, because again, hopefully, regardless of whether you view them as different tiers or not, pricing, quality, whatever, I do hope it makes everyone sort of evaluate what the standard is, and that's great. That's great for everyone involved as far as collectors and all that stuff. So again, we're gonna see. J&D has always marketed themselves as the top tier, and we're gonna see how this shakes out. But I think they're gonna do a good job. I mean, I do think this is going to be a really good figure. It's so early. Obviously, it's not going to come out until maybe probably the end of next year or later. I don't know. Maybe it could be sooner than that, but that's just my speculation. But considering it's their first figure, but I'm excited to see how it shakes out. But again, it's not going to be for everyone, and that's okay. Yeah. It's okay. So, but I find it very interesting, and I know, and I know other people do as well. So, guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. I've been enjoying reading the chat and seeing everyone's thoughts on this type of stuff, and yeah, I think it's pretty cool. So let's talk about some more Hot Toys on the docket that we have here. So there was a Hot Toys exclusive comic Spider-Man that was announced and then suddenly released. So I think this is one that we want to just touch on real quick, just because I think it's a, it's an exclusive Spider-Man, but at the end of the day, it still is a Spider-Man nonetheless. But if you could ask the question, are we still, this was something with Iron Man for a long time. I know, Optical, you saw this, and Keco, I'm sure you did too. A lot of people are like, oh, fucking another Iron Man, another goddamn Iron Man. And one other one would pop up, they'd reissue one, they'd make, Sentry Iron Man, they'd make every Iron Man they could. And now they're doing that with Spidey. Spidey is a new Iron Man. They will make every Spidey that they possibly can because they know that people will generally buy it and they'll eat it up. That said, Keco, with this comic sort of exclusive not Artisan, but exclusive Spider-Man, is this one that are we starting to reach Spidey overload here? What are you thinking and feeling about this?
My latest video, that one of the comments on there had nothing to do with my video. They were saying that there's too many Iron Man and Spider-Man. That I was like, oh, okay, cool. Thank you for watching the video, but at least giving me the comment here, because here it is, that there's too many Spider-Man. There are too many Spider-Man, and we're not quite as many as the Jokers out there. At least there are different versions of him, and I do like how this one is kind of maybe even the Scarlet Spider body with the big delts, and he's got those comic lenses or whatever. You don't have to worry about the mirror that some people were so freaked out about. This is a fun figure, but I don't know how necessary it is. I would love to see the Hono version of a Amazing Spider-Man from the TV show, perhaps. But you can't deny there's a lot of cool accessories, a lot of good bases, and he looks surprisingly posable. So I don't know. You're never gonna have Spidey overload because the kids love them. You're always gonna have the kids real excited about Spidey. But I mean, how many talk about diminishing returns? I mean, I thought that after the Iron Spider bombed and the 2099 bombed and things like which one was that? The Cyborg Spidey. I was like, they've got to pull the plug on.
What was the Antioch Spidey? Iron Spider.
I was like, yeah, some of the worst figures I own personally. I'm like, they got to be done. And then what do you know? Here comes some more. But at least this is the classic one. Everyone's like, oh, but this is the one I've wanted. Look at the eyes, look at the webbing, look at the build, look at the camera. People will definitely go for it because you're talking about a character who's been around for 60, 70 years. So there's going to tick a lot of boxes for a lot of people. So, and it's comic, and those have been around a lot more than, any MCU thing or video game. So I'm sure
maybe
people are super excited.
I'm just starting to notice this, Keco, but Hot Toys seems to be like real in on the comic shit right now. Like they really seem
like I said, I think they know that there's nothing coming down the pipelines. They're like, man, we got to get our shit together. And so this is just opening the floodgates to where it's like, hey, did you guys like this growing up? Well, here's some figures of that. So who knows?
That nostalgia. Well, Optical, what do you think? I mean, I don't know. I don't recall Hot Toys really going into this comic stuff as much as they have in recent, the last like 6 months, really, to a year. But there's a lot of comic stuff going on. But Optical, are we starting to reach sort of the Spider-Man overload period? I mean, I think Hot Toys knows people are going to buy these regardless of how we feel. But what do you think?
I think they knew. I think they know that we've been in Spider-Man overload already. But this is like creating a stormtrooper. It's cheap. You already have the body. You probably have the eyes or whatever. So even if they don't sell that much, you didn't really R&D the whole lot here. So it's like doing an Iron Man. So if you notice, they're going back to because there's nothing in there. They're probably hoping that for some miracle, MCU decides to do a good Marvel movie. It's like, God, man, we're just squeezing whatever's left in here. Just guys, make something good. Because like we're tapping to new Iron Man, quarter scale Mark IV, quarter scale Mark VI. It's like, guys, please make a good movie because we can only recycle this Iron Man and Spider-Man for so long now. To a degree, that was like, you know what? F that. We'll make X-Men. Make X-Men. Jesus, we can't do another Spider-Man. Just make X-Men. But yeah, it just shows you. Because they did have the classic suit Spider-Man, which I did have from the PS4 version, and then you get this. So I was like, okay, like how many classic suit are we gonna have? But all right. But that didn't hold its value either. Like that sold out. Sold mine. Didn't really sell it to get my money back. So if you're gonna get this, hopefully, even with the limited thing, hopefully you really do like the suit. Because honestly, if you're thinking that, hey, I'm gonna get this and it'll be like $600 in the future, I doubt it. I look at how many Spider-Mans there is in one picture.
This picture is perfect. I didn't realize this was out there, but this picture is perfect for this topic. Yeah.
Look at
it's
that.
True, the Optical. I mean, this is not by any means all of the recent ones. I mean, this just to me looks like some recent Spider-Man. But I mean, just looking at some of these, I don't even remember all the fucking names of these suits. Like that's how many Spider-Mans there are out there. The Doctor Strange suit or whatever from No Way Home. I actually thought that was a really cool suit when it was announced. Then when you watch the film, it's like the suit doesn't look like that at all. It doesn't. It's not even accurate, but it looks cool.
That's not even. You know what the sad part is?
That's not even
the black and gold one. Yeah,
that's not even the quarter of the Spider-Man that's available. That's not even. It's not even close. So
yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like. Dude, that's absolutely wild, man. There's so many Spider-Man figures. And again, clearly there is a huge market for Spider-Man. He's got to be the hottest superhero right now. I can only assume because Hot Toys is fucking going buck wild with the shit. Like they're making so many Spider-Man, and now that Iron Man's gone, they're just like, we're gonna make the fuck out of these Spider-Man. And most of them, you don't even need a head sculpt. necessarily. You could just make a Spider-Man and people will buy it, and it's cheap.
That's why it's kind of like a stormtrooper, you know, like there's no risk to them of making one. It was like, all right, we got some spare parts in here. All right, just use them all.
Let's make it. Right. So, and that's what they do. So yeah, I'm interested to hear what the chat thinks, but yeah, I mean, overall, there's a lot of Spider-Man right now. It's pretty 50-50. People are saying 51% saying there's not too many Spider-Man figures. So again, I think overall people are liking it. So yeah. Carlos dropped a super chat. Carlos 499, thanks so much, bro. If you all were in a horror movie where only one lives, who would make it out alive and who dies first?
Can we agree that I'm going to make it out alive?
I think all three of us would say that we would make it out alive, but I think
it's a movie though. It's a movie. Because of diversity, I think I will live.
Yeah, I think you would too, actually. But back in the old days, it would have been the opposite. But nowadays,
I would have died first.
Exactly. Yeah. But I think nowadays, since our culture, values that much more as they should, I think Optical would live the longest. I think I would go the first.
I don't think I'm just gonna live.
It would put some seasoning on your chicken and you'd be out.
Would you say Optical?
I don't think that I'm not only gonna live. I think I'm gonna be a superhero at the end of the movie.
Yeah, that's probably true. It's probably true.
Yeah, bit by a radioactive lion.
Yeah,
like
pretty
Craven.
much.
Yeah.
I think that's true.
America, so.
That's true. The Keco, the villain or the murderer would put seasoning on my chicken, and I would just be gone immediately.
That's it.
Yeah, it's true. That's how it ends.
They give you chocolate protein powder instead,
dude. Guys, in the chat, drop in the chat. Vanilla protein powder is the best, and I will not be swayed any other direction. Optical, it is, bro. Don't agree with Keco. It's
cookies
true.
And cream.
What'd you say?
Cookies and cream.
There's a cookies and cream one.
Yeah,
chocolate peanut butter is the way to go.
Yeah.
That is the truth.
Nah, it's all about the vanilla, dude. You get some vanilla, you get some oat milk and some ice. You got a banger right there. That's all you need. That's all you need. And Keco knows.
A banger of blandness.
I like Keco. You told me before you were gonna do that too. Before when I was in Tennessee, Keco was like, "I'm gonna give you shit about your bland food taste."
Which, by the way, I keep looking at your protein powder in the cabinet every single day. I need to mail that back to you.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. Yeah, no, just drink it,
there, bro.
Just drink it. It's fine.
You're the vanilla guy, Jesus.
Yeah, I literally the vanilla guy. So yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty exciting. And guys, so I wanted to bring this up, and I updated this banner to be, I hope accurate. But a lot of people were saying that at Tokyo Comic Con, Hot Toys showed an updated Obi-Wan sculpt. So I want to share the photo, and I want to sort of decipher if that's the case or not. To me, it does look like it's certainly better than it was before. It definitely looks like they have made improvements. But again, a lot of people are saying this is another further update, and it's a massive improvement. I guess only time will tell once we have the figure in hand. But I got to ask you the question, Keco. This is a figure that for sure, I mean, Hot Toys, it's important, right? Because it's a Ewan McGregor figure that, the last one I guess we had was the Revenge of the Sith one that a lot of people we can bring up that photo too. Some people thought there might be a 2.0 version. I don't think so. I think Hot Toys has the old version on display. I think they just tossed it in there for display. I don't know if there's another one coming soon, maybe, but I don't think it's that one on display. Keco, that said, do you think this head sculpt looks a lot better? What are your overall thoughts?
And just to say, I have it on pre-order. I am getting it, but this is an ass representation of Obi-Wan. So naturally, you're going to have a poor sculpt. Yeah, I'll wait for art or the JND or the seamless skull. It's so tough because outside of the Sir Alec Guinness version, they've not been able to get a Ewan McGregor likeness at all. And even the Revenge of the Sith one, people said, "Oh, this is going to look great." Then it came out, and I was like, "What the fuck is on his lip?" He has the caterpillar mustache going on. This does look better. I saw someone, if you zoom in or whatever, it does look like he's got his mouth open a little bit better. The styling of the hair looks a little. I think it is an upgraded sculpt, honestly. The one, I think 1/6 photographer Mark showed it like a closer up version, and it does look better. But as I said, you're going to be pairing him right next to that mid Vader that we talked about last week, the one that got his ass kicked, the ultimate representation of a failure.
That's Grail Vader, not mid Vader.
So I don't know. I like the gray. It's going to look cool, but I think there's not a single person out there that doesn't have a Kenobi that said, "Ooh, I don't like the sculpt. I'm going to pass on it." Most likely, if you wanted a Kenobi, you are getting this one if you don't have it already. Because who knows when you're going to get that Revenge of the Sith updated 2.0 version and for the 25th anniversary or whatever they're calling that. So how thrilled are we?
So you're saying this is mid but satisfactory, but it's not a great sculpt. Right.
Yes.
So we need JND. basically.
It's just like the show. Mid.
Yeah.
Actually,
Dude.
the show was bad. The show was bad.
Yeah, the show was pretty bad.
Yeah.
However, I will say that the finale of the show I liked. I liked the final episode. I liked the final fight.
Oh, where he kisses Leia and says, "You're a great person. Your mom and dad were great. I have no idea who you are. So when Luke asks about me, act like you don't know who I am." Yeah, great plot hole.
Yeah, but I really liked the part where they fought and then Vader's mask. That was pretty cool. So I like that part. I'm like a simple little bitch, dude. I'm like, all I need is.
If Star Wars is just okay to you, I get that.
It is. It's optical. Keiko has never let me live this down. I said that besides Empire, the original trilogy is just okay. Like, I like it. It's good. But Empire is fucking awesome. But the other two, I don't really like Return of the Jedi that much. I'm not a huge fan. Yeah, not a huge fan. Keiko's done. He's fucking done, dude. Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, there you go. Your vanilla protein powder is coming back so you can binge the sequel trilogy. Go for it.
Exactly. Optical, dude. On a scale of Grail to double Grail, how good is this Obi-Wan?
Triple Grail. Does it have a liver?
Should have known.
Full disclosure, I pre-ordered this when he was looking like Kurt Russell.
Did you actually?
I did.
Nice.
I don't even pre-order. I don't know why I pre-ordered this. But yeah, is it an improvement? Sure. I still couldn't recognize who this guy is, but is it better than the what they showed? Sure. You know, I'm gonna get him regardless. You know, like Keco said, I don't have one. I don't care if he looked like what the prototype came about. Is it better? Sure. It's still not the best. You know, is it in magnetic ice? No. So it's for poor people. Yeah,
apparently.
You know, so you know, I don't know. But I do like it. Is it improvement? Is it like this is DX, right? Like
yeah, it's DX. It came with the exclusive version came with like the saber box and everything, right? I remember that.
Yeah, but he does have that, you know, floating stones and all that stuff. So that's
pretty cool. I thought there was going to be a the Obi-Wan the white version, but they never did that. So
that would have actually been better with the little glasses hanging around his neck.
Yeah, I think that would have been cool. Maybe they'll still
give me an Eopie. I want an Eopie.
Optical, I'm surprised you PO'd this.
My kids love the show.
Okay, so that's what it is. Okay,
they love the show. So I was just like, all right, you know, they love Book of Boba too. So yeah, that's their introduction to Star Wars. I had them watch. So what I do is I had them watch the you know, like you said, the original trilogy, and that is a good way to put them to sleep. So,
see,
pop in A New Hope, and we all snooze. You know?
Yep, exactly. We all go to bed. But you pop in Rise of Skywalker, shit's popping off.
Hey,
yeah, exactly, dude.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely blasphemy. Absolutely blasphemy.
It's true. It's good to have Optical here so I can control Keco with help. So it's pretty great. So yeah, but I will say, Keco, that Vader is by no means mid. That Vader is the Vader to own in all 6 scale. That Darth Vader is the best version. I'm gonna throw that out there. So yeah, dude, it's battle damage. No other Vader has done that before. So I think it's pretty cool. I think Obi-Wan sculpt looks better. It still has a little bit of Jeff Bridges in there to me. I still feel like it's not quite fully there. But what are you gonna do? I think it's better. I'm glad they're updating it. We shouldn't expect this for every figure. That's for damn sure. But for Obi-Wan, I guess okay. He's a big enough character.
I want the other Inquisitors behind him. That's what I want.
You want those?
Yeah, they're a lot cooler than like some of the other things we've gotten recently.
They don't do anything though.
Those other 2 Inquisitors, they look good though. They're aliens. I want aliens on my shelf.
You know who I'd want who doesn't do anything but looks good? Are the Knights of Ren. I would buy those.
I can print you out a cardboard cutout and you can just put it in.
Yeah, I'll put those up. I'll wait for JND. I'll get the JND. Yeah. But guys, let us know your thoughts on this Obi-Wan. Are you going to pick this up? Are you excited about it? Is this one that, you know, is going to be displayed in your collection next to that amazing Darth Vader that's coming out? Hopefully that should be soon. It was supposed to be October to March, I think. So I guess it could be early 24, but
might be released mid next year.
Dude, maybe. Maybe. I'm excited though, Optical. I think it's going to be pretty cool. Let's talk about a couple more things here. This is going to get us into probably trouble, but we're going to talk about it anyway. So are collectors unrealistic about characters that are produced into figures? And this is something that I see quite a lot, and we all fucking do this. Because how many times have I said, Optical, you know, Keco maybe not as much, but like Ravenclaw, for example, I'm like, okay, let's make a Proxima Midnight. Let's make a Corvus Glaive. Let's make a Knight of Ren for me, because I want that. Right. And I think it's fair to always throw that stuff out there. You can post anything on a forum and say, I really want this character in art, Hot Toys, please make this. But some people, some collectors, including ourselves from time to time, from what we do, is we think, oh, why haven't they made X character or made Y character? Why are they making Joker instead of, any number of other characters? And I think, again, yes, we are Jokered out. Yes, there have been a lot of Jokers made, but clearly this is a very fucking popular character. And this is one that, they know that if they make something that's particularly unique or innovative, that there will be still enough people to buy in and go get that. That said, are we sometimes unrealistic about this, about what we want, Keco? What do you think? I mean, because there's all characters we want, but sometimes at the end of the day, there's a reason that Batman has been made a million times. Joker has been made a million times. And of course, they make Iron Man and Spider-Man. What do you think about this?
I get it. Imagine if J&D's first offering was to be Omni-Man or something from that terrible show, Invincible. Imagine
terrible
that.
show.
So, or let's say they even pulled Homelander or whatever. Still, it's just not the same tier. So I get it. I understand the level of cultural impact, especially if you're trying to make sure that they sell. I get that. Sure. I remember when I collected the Marvel Legends and I would be on Marvel Legends Reddit, and they would always be like, here's my top 10 list of figures I'd love to see. Now, granted, these are things that they produce thousands, hundreds of thousands of each version, and there are thousands of options, within the line. And they'd be like, here's my top 10. And they'd be like the 10 most obscure, random comic book like people ever. And we give Nick shit about his pizza scooter type of thing. Imagine like how obscure some of these things were. It's like, here's the lint bunny that was under Spider-Man's bed. Something like, I want that in a 6-inch figure. Right. It was just so ridiculous. And like, I would like question myself, like, am I not a fan because I don't know who these are? Like, am I not a fan? I'm not a real nerd because I don't know who half these people are? So yeah, we are unrealistic when it comes to why don't we get this fill in the blank, and why do we get fill in the blank? It's going to be business at the end of the day. I think people have been joking about it in the chat. It's like the companies don't care about you as a collector. They care about money. They do not care the fact about whether you're completing your line, completing your collection. Say what you want. Hot Toys doesn't give a fuck about their collectors. They care about the money. They're like, why do we only got one of a team and one from a movie? Because they don't care. They just care about the money. They know that if they're going to build out the Suicide Squad, the only one that's going to sell probably is Peacemaker and King Shark. I think Harley Quinn would sell, but
that's questionable.
Yeah, even then, I think Harley Quinn would sell, but the other ones just won't. So we can sit there and be up in arms about it all day, but it's a business. It's not a charity. They do not care what you're going to put out to finish your line. So all that to say, yes, we have unrealistic expectations.
It's true, though, Keco. Suicide Squad is a good example because as much as I really loved that film and I really loved Bloodsport, I thought he was great. Like, even the So-So Toys wasn't really moving. Like, that was something and that was a lot cheaper than what a Hot Toys figure would be. And King Shark wasn't. Even Peacemaker didn't really seem to do that well. And as much as great as that show was. So I don't know, man. I think that's something for sure that we do have to look at and we have to be realistic about. We could always ask the question, are we spideyed out? But at the end of the day, we do understand it's business. And Hot Toys knows, like you guys have mentioned, it's fucking cheap and it's going to sell. That said, Optical, are we sometimes a little unrealistic about this in terms of what we want? What do you think?
I don't think it's sometimes. I think it's all the time.
Okay.
We want JND for $300.
That would be great.
Like I think we are, and I don't blame collectors for that. I could wish for a hot supermodel girlfriend, wife, whatever. It's free to wish something. Is my wife there? No, okay.
No, she's not listening. She's not watching.
No, but that's just how we are. The thing too, but I would say though, this is the time to be. I would say those unrealistic expectations might come true because MCU is not producing anything. Who would have thought we'd seen RoboCop ever again? God, Hot Toys couldn't get rid of that back in 2014. They couldn't get rid of RoboCop. Yet here we are with a RoboCop that sold out. Who would have thought we would have seen, like Wolverine from Days of Future Past, or this Wolverine from, the animated show. Right. So, hey, nothing is surefire right now. So, hey, we have a Predator now. So,
dude,
maybe. But if somebody's asking before when this was when Dark Knight was hot in Hot Toys, so maybe around 2013, 14, somebody was asked like, no one's gonna make Talia al Ghul. It's like, why would they make that? It was just like, is that her name? Oh, Talia, whatever her name is.
Talia. Yeah.
I was like, why would they make her?
Heard that scene was very traumatic.
the death scene was
that was a
would
very
say
traumatic viewing
Oscar-worthy,
experience.
but you know,
She's an Oscar-nominated actress.
How
and he's
did
an
that?
Oscar. He's
How
an
did that make
Oscar-winning
the cut?
director. How does that happen?
I don't know how that made the
that is
cut.
a cinema mystery right there.
It is. Maybe they filmed it and that on set, Christopher Nolan was like, "Yeah, this is good," and then they got back and they were like, "Fuck, dude, we can't refilm that shit." And they just left that shit in there. But I don't know how that made it.
It's like we ran out
You
of
should have
film.
taken here's editing 101. You should have taken her audio and just focused on Gordon or Bruce or somebody. So put the camera someone else and just do the voiceover. You could have done that.
And then just show her dead. Yeah. At the end of it.
It was the fluttering eye.
That was great. That was a great impersonation. Yeah, that was really good. But yeah, I'm with you guys. I mean, I do think, and again, it's not unreasonable to make the request, but I think it is also a reasonable expectation to expect that you're probably not going to get it, because at the end of the day, this is a business for these companies and they want to make money. And I've heard some companies say like, oh, it's not really about the money. I'm like, I mean, that's great, but I'm wondering. Oh, Optical's gone again. I'm wondering why you would be in business if that's
not about the money. It's sending a message. Sending a message. Optical's back. There he is.
So, but yeah, so that's what I would say. I mean, it's about sending a message, I guess. I don't know. Because at the end of the day, who knows? Everyone's going to do what they want, and it's cool. We're getting new things. I'm glad, that these companies are making different things. But it's funny. InArt originally was running polls in the very beginning. They were like, "What figures do you want to see? If we ran video game characters, what would you want to see?" And it was all shit that Hot Toys had already made. It was like Batman Arkham Knight and shit like that the people that collectors voted for, that Hot Toys had already made. So again, people ask, why is InArt making Pennywise? Why is InArt making Batman and stuff that Hot Toys already made? You know why? Because that's what people want, whether they say it or not. That's what they're going to buy. So it's great to have new stuff, but if it's not the right character, they're not going to pay $400 to $500 for that. So yeah, pretty interesting. Anyway, guys, thanks for your thoughts on that one. And yeah, guys, so we're going to wrap it a little bit early tonight, I think, just because honestly, we breezed through our topics and honestly, we spent a lot of time on J&D. So Keco's going to need a rest after that because, I think we got him upset enough for one day Optical about Rise of Skywalker and J&D. So yeah, I don't want to ruin his fucking weekend. So, it's going to be, I don't want to do that.
Don't have me upset for the gala.
Wait, did you say the gala's tonight?
The gala's Sunday.
Sunday. Okay, I can still fly out then. I'll be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I'll be in the pink room before you know it. Anyway,
and
guys,
thank you. We have that one extra chair, as I told you in the chat.
Yeah, that one's not as desirable as it sounds. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for joining us on this fun live stream. And of course, drop your comments below, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to these guys. That said, Keco, you have an amazing video series that's going on right now. Yeah. You got to tell the people about this.
So I had to go clickbait, and I apologize for anybody out there. So I put a big thumbnail of me in my garage sweeping up a bunch of old DTOFs essentially in my garage. And the big caption, I quit. And that video did pretty well.
It did really well.
Yeah. And so for one, we were talking about displays because I've officially quit, everybody, using DTOFs. I've moved on to different things. What happened? I guess you might have to click that link and find out. It's a part one. Part two is coming after we finish some of the things up, but it's a labor of love. And from that, we will end the year with an official collection tour video, which the last one did pretty well. About 68,000 people watched that one. So we're hoping for some good things, but please check out the YouTube. That's going well. It's not looking like we're going to get to 1,000 on TikTok. Unfortunately, I haven't eaten enough food recently. So make sure to check those things out on Instagram. If I can ever get my room set back up, I will post some new photos of the Blue Bail Man, the Grand Inquisitor, things like that. But Will, I do have to say, the Blue Bail Man is pretty fucking spectacular.
Is it really?
It pretty
Are you
much
bullshitting?
I'm not, man. It's pretty cool.
Okay. Well, I have to see it when I come to the gala then, because that's because dude, that figure, I don't know. Optical Keco's maintained that the Blue Batman is a grail, but I think he's gonna die on that hill alone. I think
he also likes original trilogy Star Wars, so
he does. That's true. It's true. He's
gonna
die on
he
that
said it like it's a bad thing. Just like,
today we're doing an eating of McDonald's.
Yeah, dude.
Saying,
this
did you eat as a kid?
Need right.
Ate the exact same thing.
This content is really
cool. That is a
like eating on TikTok. I think Amy's onto something, Keco. I think
and she like criticized this because for one, it wasn't crunchy enough. The camera angle wasn't good enough, and I don't do enough of the. People want to hear the smack apparently, and Shameful.
The
I'll try
optical
again. I told her I'd do 2 of them. I've only done 1. I've been busy with some other things.
Yeah,
I'm
well, I
really
got my
hungry.
mom to watch it. She watched it.
Are
And
you
she was like,
serious?
"Yeah." She was like, "How much food is in there?" I was like, "Well, he goes over. It's like what 2 cheeseburgers, a fry, and a McNugget, right? Or nugget,
Yeah,
or
man.
whatever it is."
It was good.
So, yeah, you got to eat good. So, Keco, you're gonna lose all those gains that you had from the cruise, bro. You're gonna that beach
I've
bod.
lifted 22 DTOFs down the stairs.
That's
I'm fine.
true. That's true. Anyway, Optical. Dude, what's going up on the channel, man? I saw Optical did a really cool video recently. I saw it was the one Hot Toys most like questionable figures. That was
Dude, did you see the date for that figure? A lot of people were like, dude, it was like, did you see the date? That was 3 years ago. I didn't know that I didn't publish it.
Oh, dude, was it really?
Like, look at the date I uploaded it
3 years ago? No.
Dude, the funny thing is I have like 5 more of those that I just forgot to upload. Just like,
Oh,
I mean,
shit.
I uploaded it, I just forgot to publish it. So, there's probably going to be like 5 more of those. That's why it's a bit outdated. Otherwise, some things would have been there, like the Blue Batman or something like that. But it'll be fun.
Yeah.
I have a new washer, so I'll probably do a review of that. So
Are you actually going to review the washer? Because I know
No.
you review technology. So
yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe
Dude, that would-
maybe next time they'll send me a washer. LG, what's up?
yeah, dude, absolutely. Well,
I actually need a new dishwasher, by the way. So
oh, that would be great. I don't really use my dishwasher much. I'm a human dishwasher. I
Yeah.
wash by hand. So yeah. So I don't really use the technology. It could be Skynet. So I guess we'll find out. Skynet and the dishwasher, bro. That's how it's gonna start. ChatGPT and your dishwasher. Those are the 2. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining this fine Friday. Apologies if the stream was a little bit shorter than usual. However, we rolled through our topics, and I don't want to just come up with them on the fly because then we're just we're half-assing. We don't want to do that here. So thank you so much. Of course, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to these guys, Keco Collects, Optical 20. A lot of great content coming. Excited to see what the JND price is going to be over the next week or so. I guess we're going to find out. And hopefully InArt will drop some heat soon. Maybe they'll drop that Batman that really people are excited about. Hoping to get my hands on that one. That said, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Signing off Friday, December 8th at 6:43 p.m. Thank you so much. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace out. See you later. Bye. Bye.